we are going to go ahead and get into the podcast, everybody. So welcome to number 8. This is the 8th one, right? Game Addict.
Yes,
Number
it
3.
is.
Number 8. God, I'm
Number
losing my
three. Going
mind,
back
dude.
in
I was
time.
late last night. I was playing with Punji Stick and Eat My Addiction last night. We were having a good time. Recruit rushing with the MA70s. So welcome to the 8th podcast, not number 3, the 8th podcast. This is insane. This has been live for 2 whole months, bro. 2 whole
Oh
months.
my God.
2 months.
That's
insane.
insane.
Yeah, consistently 2 months. So if you guys are watching this is actually happening on Friday. Friday, generally around 9 o'clock is when we start doing the podcast, but we did it late today because the Pro League was on. Obviously, people want to watch that, and everybody should watch that. So the Pro League is happening. We will be covering the Pro League Monday at 9 in the morning. I think, will that work for you? Is that a good time for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Works for me.
All right. So I'm your host, Microwave Gaming.
And I am his co-host, Game Addict.
The co-captain can't do it without you, man. Can't do it without you for sure. So
I appreciate you, buddy.
yeah, if you guys haven't seen Game Addicts YouTube channel, he's growing very, very fast. He makes daily content. He does gameplay, funny moments, and you can definitely check it out. There's a link in the description. So yeah, this is our little podcast that we do every week where we talk about everything that happened within Rainbow Six during this week. So pretty much from Saturday all the way through today, Friday, we talk about whatever happened. Whatever we saw that we want to talk about, that's what we bring up. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, we could bring up anything. So, but today we have a whole list of, obviously we're going to talk about the new operators. But first off, we're going to start by talking about the deployment timeline. Now, this has been a big thing. I've been getting a shit ton of tweets about this. What do you think about the timeline? Is it postponed? You know, you have some people are saying that it wasn't postponed, that they said it would be out on the 29th, but they didn't clarify it, that it would be on the TTS, and that makes sense. That makes sense.
Right, it does.
But they've never done this before, so they should clarify from the beginning.
Haven't.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's something that's really important, especially with transparency, right? And trying to be more transparent, because clearly I think that with this season they've been pretty transparent on what they've been working on.
They have,
and what to expect. Now, you know, obviously there's some things that they keep hidden from us, but yeah, I think that this maybe should have been announced about a month ago. You know, doing it like a week before ops are supposed to come out for season pass holders is like a little bit of a slap in the face. I know some people
a little bit
kind of right. Well, yeah, right. It's we're really lucky that with this game though, like, you don't have to pay for this stuff. It's all basically free.
True. You've got a point there.
But so for season pass holders, yeah, we paid money because it's this experience that we get to use these ops a week early. We don't have to pay for them, blah blah blah. So yeah, I think as a season pass holder, there's a right to be upset with Ubisoft.
Right.
They gave us a timeline, said this is when it will be out. Operation Health will be over, and then to say, well, you guys can wait an extra week and kind of pseudo test them on the TTS is like, it could have been handled better.
And I think that's the problem here, is that I think it could have been handled a lot better. Real quick, Bulma, yes, I did see it. We will be talking about that a little bit later. Now, I wanted to go ahead and say, guys, if you guys have any questions or you guys want to add anything into the podcast that's for live, you can go ahead and add a donation. It's kind of sell out there, but it is what it is. The donations, we will be reading them live, and the money will be split between me and Game Addicts. So if you guys want to say anything or add anything to the podcast, donations are the way to go. I forgot to add at the beginning, but I just want to go ahead and add that in. Now, let's get back to our conversation. I wanted to say that I think it's great. Personally, I think it's fantastic that the TTS is happening beforehand. I absolutely love it. However, I think it's a problem because they kind of conflicted themselves here. They're like, hey, you get to test it out at Gamescom. The people did. It got leaked.
Right,
all this shit got leaked. Rumor is that they messed up on the
their NDA.
Their NDA, right, that they allowed it to happen, release the information beforehand. But the problem with, like, that I have is that I wish they would release the TTS Tuesday and still kept it in line, you know, like, and I know the whole reveal, it messes everything up, and it's super hard to deal with that, but it's just, to me it really does suck, because it's like, you know, we're building up this hype. You and I do the same thing live on stream and on YouTube. We talk about this stuff. Hey, it's gonna be live, you know, the 25th or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
The 29th. You're gonna be able to test it. You're gonna play everything. It's gonna be great. Everything. You know, let's play it 29th. Take your days off. Like, you know, take some time off, you know, for an hour or two and play the game or whatever. Now, let me clarify that I do agree that it should be tested. That is the best method, and it's the best thing they've ever done. I completely agree, but the fact that they're postponing it, in my opinion, is postponed, delayed.
And to be honest,
in
a game development standpoint, 1 week of public testing is not enough to implement anything immediately, right? So like with Blizzard, they're like, hey, like two months out of when we're going to be implementing all of these changes that you're going to be seeing, or a new character, you guys get to test it out. You guys get to try it and tell us what's wrong with the balance and how we can rework it. Sure. 1 week is not enough to go like, oh, hey, you know, this gun right here, the Scorpion, is like way too accurate. It should not be as accurate.
You make a great point.
Well, we'll get that in the mid-season reinforcement, you know. And it's like,
yeah. You make a really good point there, dude. That's a really solid. I've never been in game development. I'm just this clown behind a mic, right? So I've never done any type, but I know you have experience in making video games. So the fact that you're able to bring that type of knowledge, like, I never even thought about that. Like, yeah, okay, so what if there's a game breaking bug like the one on Bank, for fuck's sake? How are they going to fix it in a week? Like, what is the point?
Right.
Like, it's not going to happen,
There's not a big turnaround time behind it. I mean, still, though, I am happy that they're doing it.
I agree. I think it's the best path, but they've never done this, and I wish they would announce it beforehand. Like, hey, it's going to be released the 29th. However, you will only be able to do it. They didn't release that information in tandem. And going back on the past of what we've seen and heard, it's discouraging, because nobody was prepared. You know, you were not prepared for this, and nobody was. Nobody knew about it, and it was really disappointing to hear, man. And so for those of you guys that don't know, it's only going to be available on the technical test server. Okay, on the 29th. It's going to be available for a week, and it's going to go live for everybody. For the season pass holders, everything will be out. All the bug fixes, all the changes, everything will be live the 5th of September, right? Is it 5th? I think so.
Yes.
So the 5th of September, it'll be live. Now, if you have the season pass, you'll be able to use the new operators. If you don't have the season pass, you'll have to wait until the 12th, I think, a week after, the next Tuesday. So I think it's the 12th. I think you'll have to wait until then to use or buy the operators. So if you don't have a season pass, buy it. It's, in my opinion, it's well worth it. It's only like $29 or something like that.
It's $30. You know, if you have, you're right, $30 American. If you have it laying around, definitely worth it. If you play this game like religiously, if it's your job, or if you're a content creator, definitely worth it.
Yeah,
you know, if this is something that you only play like time to time, if you only dabble in, like, maybe you can get away with not buying it, but I definitely think it is worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not that much. I think that they should increase some of the things for it. Like, I don't think the 5% renown or whatever. Like, I think that's kind of, there's a 10%.
Yeah, there should be a little bit more incentive.
There should be a little bit more. I mean, it's only a week. I don't know, man. I think that.
Right. I also think, like, so alpha packs. So I mean, this is kind of like tangent from what we were originally talking about, but like, so if you're a season pass holder, you get an extra 3% on an alpha pack.
That's fantastic.
Again, well, that's not much incentive. Like 3% out of, so normally it's like 2.5%, then goes up to 5%. It's like, you don't get that much of a thing. Like, so if they were like, hey, a solid 5 to 10 extra,
right?
You know, you get a little bit more chance of getting stuff. But you know, then people may say it's pay to win. Either way, it's completely off topic of like what we were talking about.
Well, I mean, I feel since we're talking about it, the fact that the season pass, you know, you pay $30 and you really only get like a week's head's worth, like, which is cool and all, but like, is it really worth it in the end? Like, you get some skins, you get some exclusive skins, but bro, is it really needed? I don't know, man. Like, I feel like there could be more done. that could definitely sweeten the pot, you know. And I always want to see Rainbow Six do well. I want to see the devs make a shit ton of money, obviously, and I think maybe increasing it, something like that would help a little bit. But
right, I just all right. So I'm seeing in chat people say it's 0.3%, not 3%. So it's even less than what. Right, and so that is trash, and that's what I'm saying. Like even if they upped it to 3%, that's like a huge increase.
That is a huge increase
from what we have right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's again, I think there should be more incentive. Like if you get a season pass from EA for, let's say, upcoming Battlefront 2, it's going to have all the maps and all the DLC characters, blah blah blah. Right. Otherwise, if you don't, you have to pay individually for those, right? So. You know, there's more of an incentive to get that type of season pass because it has much more content. This content, we just get operators.
Yeah, and you get everything for free anyways. I mean, which I think is great. Right. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I think that's fantastic. I think that's one of the best things about this game is that most of the stuff is free, and over time, you do get it for free. However, I wish that they would sweeten the pot, you know, for the season pass holders. So it's a need for me, but it's not a need for some other people. But yeah, so. I want to go ahead and talk about Legion first. I don't know about you, but boy, am I excited about this guy, bro. Like, I don't know how. Okay, so first of all, before we start, I want to go ahead and play a little video of what the operator video is. So people that haven't seen it will be able to see it. So I'm just going to take a quick 15 seconds. So let me play this clip real quick, guys. This is Legion. This is what he looks like. All right, so we got a look at Legion here. Now I know we've had leaked information. I know we've had all this leaked videos. I'm not going to play them because I don't want to increase it. I've thought about it. We've always seen leaked every single season, and as of this moment, as of this recording, if you guys listening on YouTube on Sunday, we have not seen anything official. And I'm only going to be doing
any official gameplay.
Exactly. I'm only going to be doing official stuff here because I'm not going to take away from Ubisoft. That's not my job. I can bitch about them, but I'm not going to ruin the surprises. And plus, I'm friends with some of the people that work there, and I respect them, and I don't want to ruin their hard work. So I'm only going to be doing official stuff, guys. So as you can see, this is Legion. He has this little canister. We previously talked about it a little bit, but the thing, you know, the words that we've seen on Reddit and all this stuff is that, like, I guess there's a cooldown and it just keeps going. And I thought that was kind of cool. You know, it was leaked on Reddit that you can, the timer and stuff. You know, I'm not going to play any videos, but there's a bunch of conversations of people where it was like a cooldown timer, wasn't it? It was like a little.
Right, but there's a maximum amount. There's a maximum amount.
Was it 2 or 3 or what? Oh, there's a maximum amount. Oh, so you can. Oh, so it's like Echo's thing, right? Like, except for
at least that's what we're under the impression of. You know, we haven't gotten to play it.
Okay.
But so the number that has been thrown around at me was 7. You can have 7 of these on the map.
Holy dude! Okay, so it can't do that much damage then.
It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's meant to be, you know, an inhibitor. It's meant to slow people down, right?
And from what we've kind of heard through the grapevines of Reddit, you know, they're these data miners, these people that look at this stuff, that you do have to kind of pick them out a little bit, right? Is that what you heard?
Yeah, they're hard to see. They're very hard to see from what I've heard.
Well, I mean, when you get hit by them, you have to pick them out of your foot, don't you? Which is
we have to sit there and pull them out,
and that's what we heard, and we covered that in, I think, podcast number 4 or 5. Like, it was pretty early on.
It was 4 or 5.
Yeah, we covered it, like that. We heard that you had to pick them out of your foot, which is just insane, dude. How that works. I think this operator is going to be the operator to look at this season. Ying might be a underdog, which we'll get into a little bit later, but I don't know exactly what his weapons are. I heard they're okay. I mean, I read about Ying's, and I read about the Scorpion, obviously, from Ela. I call her Ela. Right. You guys are gonna hate me on. There's gonna be 4 or 5 giant comments on YouTube saying it's Ella, not Ela. What are you, trash? So I'm just gonna, I call her Ela. That's what it is. But I heard her Scorpion's pretty good, but I don't really know Lesion's. But I think his gadget's going to be fantastic. So it slows, right? You step on him,
Yes,
slows him down,
does.
which is pretty cool, right? I mean, it does a little bit of damage. Definitely going to take away from the rushing the objective, because a lot of times you have Ash, you blow up the barbed wire, you rush inside the building or the room, right? You get the kill. I mean, that's what we're seeing in Pro League today. We're literally seeing that today.
Literally today.
Literally
right?
seeing it today. So
yeah, it's exciting because it's going to have that same effect as barbed wire, but going to be much more effective, I think.
Yeah, I think Legion's going to be the dude to look out for.
Yes.
I mean, he's going to be the only defender that we get this season, but the fact that everything is invisible, you can throw him pretty much anywhere, and all of a sudden, boom, you know.
We have 2 defenders this season.
We have 2 defenders? Yeah, we have. Oh, that's right. 2 defenders, 1 attack. That's right. I got it reversed. Yeah, thanks for clarifying. Yeah. So I think,
no problem.
I still think Legion will be the guy to go to. I think Ayla will be a fun operator.
Well, she's a 3-speed, right?
Yeah, I think we have that video up here. Hold on, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play the 32-second video, and we'll do a little talk about her. So hold on.
Okay.
It's a brutal, dangerous world out there. But I found my way. Chaos is my home. And I'll make sure you never escape it.
Now, the thing about her is that they actually made a cinematic for her. So she's been planned for a long time. The other operators haven't had that. There's been little things like, you know, Blackbeard and Valkyrie when he, you know, kind of like puts his chin up like, what's up, dude, you know, a little bit like that. But there's been nothing like this. This is the first time we're seeing a cinematic of another operator. Not a lot of people have actually caught on to that. This is a legit cinematic. Yeah, this is the first one that we've seen. Yeah. So they've had this operator planned for a long time, because we all know how long it takes to make cinematics. It takes a shit ton of time, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's a lot of time. And here they are with this operator, and they're really pushing this as like their new like highlighted operator for sure. My kind of worry is, now this goes back to the story and stuff. Like, I don't know if you guys ever read or heard of a Tom Clancy book or played a video game of Tom Clancy. Obviously you have. You played Rainbow, but you're not allowed to play bad guys in a Rainbow Six Tom Clancy game, or a Tom Clancy game. You're not allowed to play as bad guys. That was his stipulation. You're not allowed to.
That was the one rule he had. Because if you guys aren't aware, like when they made the original Rainbow Six game, they basically just made like a shooter game, and were like, well, let's just throw Tom Clancy Rainbow Six on there, like legit. They didn't get permission. They didn't ask him. They were just like, we're gonna throw his name on there. And he was like, all right, well, and the one rule is that you can't be bad guys.
It makes sense, because I mean, Tom Clancy, you know, rest in peace. He has a lot of weight in the military video game genre and book, you know.
Fantastic books.
Yeah, awesome. And the fact that she kind of seems like a bad guy, you know, like war is chaos, you know, and I thrive in chaos and all this stuff. And it's like, you're treading along the lines of being a bad guy. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel I don't like that at all. But obviously she has 4 mines, I think it's what it was. She has 4 of these mines that could be thrown anywhere, and they kind of look like little, you can see them here in the video, they have this little goop on the end, and they stick to anything. Like, you could throw them on the ceiling, whatever you want, right? And so basically they're concussion. Like, you guys have been echoed, the drunk effect, as people like to refer to it as. It hits you, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're disorientated. So I think that's pretty awesome. But the one crazy thing that I've heard on Reddit is that you can actually detonate them while you're downed on yourself.
I've heard that too.
What the heck is that? That's like a suicide bomber, but not a suicide bomber. Like, what is that? So like, then why can't we do that with C4s?
It's all right. So it's true. I mean, again, like maybe this is something they're testing out with that. You know, what is that? That was Martyrdom from Call of Duty 2, right? Or Modern Warfare 2. That's what it was. You know, you die, you drop a nade, boom. You know, we called it the Halo nade back in the day, because you do that in Halo. If you know you're dying, you drop a nade. So to have this gameplay mechanic of of being able to cause damage when you're downed, right? So I'm kind of happy that hers isn't damage based.
That's true.
It's only meant to disorient.
But
That's a little bit more interesting than the suicide bomber concept, right? Of you being able to detonate your C4 on yourself. Like, you probably should be able to if she's able to. I understand that completely.
But the thing is, like, they're introducing that as a feature, so it's like, why can't they just do other things in tandem? Like,
well, so but then that's like the whole balance of like a damaging effect versus a disorientation effect,
right? Good God, could you imagine you down Pulse and he just detonates himself when you go near him?
Exactly, you run up, because how many times do you down somebody and nobody's around? You just run up to knife them.
Good God, dude.
So say you down somebody now with that whole gameplay mechanic in there, they're instantly able to refrag you if they decide to knife you, if they're too close.
That's insane.
Right. Dude. So that may be why. I mean, the effect of refragging that fast is something that maybe would be a little bit unbalanced, right?
Yeah. Now we also hear that her Scorpion has a high rate of fire. But has a lot of recoil. I've heard two different stories that has a lot of recoil and no recoil. I think it has a lot of recoil. I think there's a bunch of YouTubers that are posting on Twitter that she has a lot of recoil. Now I'm excited to play her. She's a 3-speed operator, so she'll definitely be roaming. It's going to be nice, like let's say an Ash is the one thing that I actually have noticed before I get into that is the fact that like they're okay. So basically, if you guys don't know what Rainbow Six is essentially, the best way I can explain it is it's essentially a bubble around a map in the objective. So you have your objective in the map, and then around that is this invisible bubble barrier. Now, the attacker's job is to force that bubble smaller, and I'm talking Pro League. I'm not talking ranked, okay, Pro League, right? Their job is to force this bubble smaller, closer to the objective, so that way they can push the objective from all sorts of angles instead of just, harpooning their way in, right? Being the tip of the spear. So they're making this bubble smaller and smaller over time until they eventually get to the objective itself, and then they do what they got to do, right? I see this as increasing the bubble protection, so it's harder to push it in. Now, for some people,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Think about it. You have Legion here who has multiple traps, invisible. They're there to slow it down. Now, Pro League is 3-minute rounds, obviously. So, even operators like Castle can really force the guys to lose a whole minute. You might not think a minute is huge, but a minute in ranked, high competitive, and Pro League games is huge. Like, a lot of times if you're watching them, you'll hear Kickstarter saying like, they're not even in the building yet, and they've already eaten up a minute of their time. Like, yeah,
it's a third of your whole time. Absolutely,
it's huge, right? Huge. So yeah, if you have a Jaeger, let's say in Tower of Oregon, and he's peeking and he's keeping them, we saw it a few weeks ago. There was a Jaeger that was keeping the enemy at bay. They couldn't push inside Tower because he was just wrecking them. He wasted like 2 minutes of their time. Then they had 1 minute to finish everybody else, and they still haven't even cleared any of the barbed wire toward the objective. Now I see Ella, whatever you guys want to call her. I know you guys are going to hate me in the comments for this, but I see her and Legion in tandem of increasing this keeping the bubble outside the objective as far away as possible. Absolutely. And I see them trying to slow down the meta. That's what they're trying to do. You can see it. Can you not see that? That's what I see. I see them trying to slow it down.
That's exactly what this season is about, is slowing down the meta and trying to give a little bit more balance to the defenders, because as we've discussed before, attackers have inherently just an easier time in this game.
Yes, they do. I mean, they've always had a higher percent ratio, especially with Blackbeard. Now now with the Blackbeard nerfs, he was like the attackers had like a 61% win ratio. Now they're closer to like a 54-52%. Now this is all depending on the maps, guys. You might have like Yacht where the attackers are insane, like 61%. I think that's what we saw the stats. But generally over all the maps, attackers have about a 54 to 52% ratio. Now I see these operators just trying to slow it down. So go ahead, continue what you're saying. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I mean it's exactly what this season is about, is trying to slow down that whole attack, trying to keep that bubble intact, trying to, I think, not only keep it intact, but maybe extend it even further as time ticks down, because these are like sound-based traps, right?
Yeah.
Not only do they disorient you, but they also have a very big, notification. If these things explode, you're going to be able to hear them. So if somebody's trying to flank you, and you don't even have to worry about detonating these. Now, they did say they were proximity. If they are detonation-based or proximity-based. If they're proximity-based, you have to be nowhere near them to know that they went off, right?
Yeah, and they're silent.
We're talking about the echo blast, though.
Oh, yeah. So you'll be able to, you might be able to feel it, too. I mean, depending. Well, I mean, I guess echoes you don't, but you definitely see it and hear it for sure, because it's a gigantic sound. It's like,
right,
and everybody hears it.
And then the same thing with Legion. When you activate it, to me, it's almost the exact same sound bite that they use for Mira. Right. So once you put up the Mira, you get that little air blast. And same thing every time I've heard these go down, you hear the little and the cap pops off.
And everybody, yeah.
So there are kind of audio cues for the attackers to hear these things, right? But so these things, I didn't really hear any audio cue, in the same way that when smoke tosses it, you kind of just hear a little bit of a stick to the wall before it's actually detonated, and then you hear the gas being released.
Right, but yeah, you hear the gas more than you hear the canister. The canister is kind of just like
exactly.
So it seems like they are trying to make the meta slower. Now, I don't know about you guys in chat or YouTube or you GameAddicts, but I tell you what, dude, I kind of miss the days where the meta was just like, holding one room or holding two rooms, everybody just focusing around. Like I get so annoyed, and it's like, hey, I'll go over here, and all of a sudden there's like a Jaeger, like, what are you doing? Why would you be here in game room in the corner hiding underneath the table? And we're already, there's 50 seconds left on the the clock, and you've been sitting here this whole, what the hell are you doing? Like, bro, what is going on? Like,
all right, those were the days of gunfights.
I miss those though. That was so fun, dude. Hey, Fist Hobo, thank you for the $5, man. I appreciate it. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Hobo. As I was just gonna say.
Hobo. Thank you, Hobo. Appreciate the love, man. Sorry, go ahead.
Love you, bro. No, it's just that kind of season 1 through season 2, right? Season 3 kind of developed a little bit more map awareness, I think. But so season 1 and season 2 was that slow gameplay that, okay, we're going to reinforce site. We're going to have people sit just outside of site. There was no real roam game back then.
Yeah.
The only person I really knew that roamed back then was like NVK. And he was the nuttiest roamer in season like good. 1 and 2. Right. Oh, he's still very good. Yeah, it's not like, say I'm not discrediting him. But yeah, those seasons were all about like holding site and holding long
But that's what Siege is, kind of. Like, that's what, when I think of Siege, like, I think of like, playing the objective, opening the walls, working together as a team. But for the past 7 or 8 months, it's all about flashbang, run, go, get angles, shoot here, pre-fire this corner. Okay, Ash is in. Ash got 3 kills. All right, let's move. Let's open up this door now. Like,
right.
Like, and this is going to be so good, because I think that this is going to change the meta, and it's going to slow it down, and that's what I've been wanting. So Ela and Legion definitely going to be 2 fantastic operators. I do see Legion being played at the higher level. I think Ela will be more of a little bit of a flavor. I think she'll still be used, obviously, for a long time to come. I'm really excited to see how she fits in the meta, like who she replaces. Like, you obviously can't replace like Smoke in some areas. Like, I don't know. I'm wondering where she'll fit into, right?
Yes.
It's going to be difficult. Now, Ying, I'm going to go ahead and play her little video. Give me a second. Now, it's not an operator video, again, which is weird. I wish they would still make those, but I'm going to go ahead and play. It's 15 seconds long, so give me a second. We're going to play here live. All right, so we just saw Ying. I don't know why that's playing. We just saw Ying. She has this little Pokeball, as everybody's going to be calling it. And from what we know on Reddit, you hold down the timer. We've talked about this in the other podcast, and really nothing too new to add for the information. You hold down the button. it decreases the timer on the little Pokeball. Now, apparently, it could be used like fuse. Did you know that?
Yes, I kind of did.
Yeah, I read that on there. Like, apparently, you can use it as fuse or something like that. I actually haven't seen the video on or anything on her that much. Like I said, this has all been on Reddit, but I hear you can kind of like put it into a wall and it just you know, flies through. So
right,
that's going to be interesting because a lot of people actually wanted a flash fuse, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah, I think it is. You know, it's again though when we talk about this whole changing of the meta of slowing it down to kind of get rid of this flash, run in and frag.
Right.
Now we're going back to like even more flashes. Now again, it's figuring out the range of these flashes, how intense are they going to be, how intense is the sound effect going to be. There's some of these things that until we play it, we don't know. Again, there's been some leaked footage out there. If you really want to, you can kind of find out. I think it spoils it for yourself until you do get to use it.
Yeah, you can't really give that much of a judgment off of, you know, videos. You know, you could speculate, which is what we're doing here. We're kind of speculating, right? But nothing until we get our hands on it, we can't confirm if they'll be that.
Right, until we play, unfortunately, some casual matches in the TTS. So we won't truly know, right?
Oh my god, dude.
So
cancer.
You know, another thing. So she's going to be slow as well.
Is she a 2-speed?
She's a 2-speed. She's not going to be as fast as what we're used to. She's gonna be a little slower, which, you know, is okay. I'm happy with that. I think what a lot of people have asked for, at least players that I know that have been playing this game for a while, have said balance. The ultimate balance would be to make everybody a 2-speed, right?
Oh my god, I wish, dude. I think that would make the level playing field just so amazing, right? But we covered that, didn't we? I think we covered that.
Yeah, we kind of did a little bit before. So it's like to have this new operator that's not going to be fast, but going to be allowing the faster operators, as we discussed when last week she was like revealed live when we were doing our last podcast, and we talked about that.
Right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle of it. It's going to be interesting to see how she plays out when we do have these defenders that are really slowing down the meta now that they've officially been confirmed.
Right, because she's kind of like as far as we could tell off this, you know, 15-second video, I guess it's actually 9-second video because there's an ad at the end. She's like a support entry fragger, so I think it's going to be great because it's, you know, most of the time you have your thermite, you know, droning people in. I think Ying will be a dedicated droner / helping whoever's getting inside the objective. You know, if you want somebody to get there now, well, you have Ying to throw a little Pokeball underneath the door. Or you could just throw it through the ceiling, you know, fuse it through the ceiling, or you can fuse it through the walls if they're unprotected. So, and another big part that some people don't know is the rumor from Reddit, you know, referencing them because they're, you know, they're sharing this huge community database that they've kind of dug up, is that I think she's immune to them, right? Like, the goggles, I think they keep her from not getting flashed. So.
Right, which makes sense.
She has the potential to be an entry fragger herself. The potential.
Right, but so remember that her primary weapon that we're going to see people using most is her LMG. The other one happens to be a shotgun, and then I think she has a revolver. Well, no, there's nothing wrong with shotguns, but
have you ever seen? I love shotguns. Don't hate on shotguns.
I'm not hating on shotguns.
I'm banning him.
There's nothing like an M870. All right, I love an M870 just like anybody else. But
Ubisoft, please give IQ an M870, please.
Right.
If you agree, put that. Say hit 1 in chat. If you think IQ needs an M870, hit 1 in chat. Let's see. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah,
keep going.
Man, no, we need to hit the 1 first. So I got to be first on that. I'm 100% in agreement with that.
Let's see it, dude.
So how often though do you really see shotguns being used on attack?
In the pro league, damn near never, like ever.
I mean, ever even in ranked, in high level ranked, which is what we play.
Unless you're memeing,
right? Unless you're memeing, unless you're up 3-0 and you're just like, you know what, guys, let's just go in there and Sergio, come on, man, 0.
We're gonna ban Sergio. $500. I banned Sergio.
So,
Sergio.
You know, it's like it's. When we look at like these shotguns, obviously Legion, his shotgun will be used more, I think, because it's used as a tool. Again, we don't know the destructibility on it. Not all of the shotguns in the game are good for breaking down walls.
Right.
So, you know, we have right. Caveras. There's God, what's the other one? I feel like it's the French one.
That one killing people, they shadow buffed that, and it used to be
right.
bad,
Oh, absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. Like killing people, that's fine, but again, you're using that on defense.
On the walls. Yeah,
right.
Trash.
Destructibility is poor, but it has a nice range on kills. So, how often are we going to see an attacker using that shotgun and what it's called the 612? I don't think we're going to see it too often. I think we're going to see that LMG being pulled out a lot more.
So we basically covered the new operators, guys, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the 100% confirmed. Now, this is not because I read it over a video, guys. This is 100% confirmed on Twitter that, yes, Bandit and Jaeger are 100% losing their ACOG. They are gone. They will no longer be there. You will only get the hollow, the reflex, and all that good stuff. So,
yep.
What do you feel about that game? You're more of a Jaeger player than I am. I'm just the sit back, echo, LOL, troll people.
Yeah, guy, right. No, I mean I like to dabble with a lot of people. You know that. I really only choose Jaeger if it's an available option and our team hasn't chosen it, and he's always, I think, a solid pick in team comp. He's got barbed wire, he's got his ADS, and he had the ACOG. Now,
yeah.
It's not necessary. Jaeger is, like we talked about this in the last podcast, I think. The ability to rotate is such an important feature in this game.
It is.
If you are a 3-speed, regardless on the distance of your scope, the ability to rotate within sight is so important. So whether you're going to be using a hollow or a reflex or a red dot, if you're going to be playing on sight, maybe you're going to change your spawn peeking. You're not going to be spawn peeking as much with these characters, but you can become a stronger sight player with them. So you may see people changing how they play.
Do you really think that they removed the ACOG for spawn peeking, though? Because of people complaining about spawn peeking?
Not so much the spawn peeking. I think it's obviously a factor. There's multiple factors that go in when making decisions like this, right? And to say that that's the only reason would be silly, right?
I don't know, because the thing about that to me is there was also another claim that the red tent when going outside has been removed. To me, if their objective was to not do as much spawn peeking, then they would try to make it to where they would punish people for leaving the building, you know, but they removed it. Right. So I don't know, man. Like, I would like to get Sergio. Sergio's in chat, actually. I'd like to get his opinion to come on the podcast and answer those questions. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I don't feel that it's because of spawn peeking. I think it's an easy excuse to throw at it.
Well, I mean, that's why I say it's a factor. It's just one of the many reasons why, and there may be some more reasons behind closed doors.
True, right.
You know, like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with how these characters are played. So to take these away and to make these characters focus more on sight related. So you even said it earlier in the podcast, you would like to see it go back to more of a sight played game, right? That, I think, removing the ACOG kind of shifts it more towards that type of meta.
I think that they removed them because they kind of want the defenders to play the close game and they want the attackers to play the long game, you know? So if you're willy-nilly out in the hall, you know, like the new map theme park, which we will never see in ranked, apparently, which we're going to bitch about that in a little bit. There's this long corridor here underneath like this glass atrium kind of a thing. There's like 2 long corridors, and I'm seeing that if you're, you know, running out there all willy-nilly, then the attacker's going to be able to pick you off, you know, from long range. So I feel that they're trying to limit the defender's ability. You know, maybe give them a little bit better weapons and better gadgets, but make them more powerful up close instead of long range.
Right. And I think that goes into what you were talking about with a bubble effect.
Yeah.
To keep these defenders kind of within the bubble. And it, I guess with a hollow or with an ACOG before, right, you could see beyond your bubble, and you were able to get picks beyond your bubble, and you're still able to do that even with iron sights. And it's not like spawn peeking goes away because you take away an ACOG.
No, it doesn't. Definitely doesn't.
It's the fact that, like you just stated, you're going to be playing the close game now.
Right.
So the closer attackers get to your bubble and pushing it in, the easier it should be for you to win these gunfights that are close range.
Right. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Unless you're playing like Sledge, who has both the SMG and the L85. Oh, also Ubisoft, if you're listening to this, please fix the L85 ACOG and the FAMAS. You're not talking about the gunplay, and we need the gunplay fixed. The gunplay has to be fixed before any gadget fixes it all. The gunplay has to work. The ACOG is misaligned on multiple weapons. Please fix that. Anyways,
yes, it is.
Sorry, I had to add that in there.
It's a good ad.
Yeah. Now, so I think it's good that they're removing. It does suck, but again, they're building this game around, and I think that's the best way to kind of explain it. I don't know any other better way to explain how Siege is except for a bubble. I talked about one of my videos, and I think that the defenders need to be more up close instead of long range. I don't really think spawn. I think it's the lazy excuse that people are using. I don't think spawn peek is the problem. It's rarely used, and if it does, it's because they disrespect you or they're going to try to catch you off guard. It's really not that big of a deal.
Right.
Now, another thing I want to talk about is the recently released data cleanup in maps. So,
yes,
this is a big topic, actually. Do I have this on the screen? I do not. Let me pull it up for everybody so that way everybody can see it. We'll talk about it. Hold on.
I've put it in Discord if you need a quick link.
I already got it. All right, cool.
Ah, you so quick.
I beat it. So basically here, you can see that the dev blog, the changes are coming to the maps, I guess. So we're gonna have 9 maps. So basically anything in the Pro League is going to be used in ranked, which is phenomenal. We also got a donation. Hold on. It says, you're referencing Reddit a lot, but there's a blog post on Ubisoft explaining all the new ops work. Yeah. There was a reason why we were using that, is because some of the stuff that was leaked, specifically the Legion timer, the weapons, stuff like that, we have to reference something, and that's what it is. So I do appreciate the donation, man. But that's what we're doing. The weapons and stuff weren't really referenced in the look. I'll even bring it up. Weren't really referenced here, so I guess they were referenced here. The weapons. He's right. Anyways, we're saying. So you're only going to be able to use 9 maps in ranked, which I think is great. How do you feel about that?
I'm happy about it. To me, it's almost like they took a page out of CS:GO's book,
which is great.
With their active playlist and then their reserve playlist. I think it is great. I still kind of wish there was a map voting system within the game when you got into it.
Could you imagine that though?
Yeah, so you have a choice between your list right now is bank, consulate, skyscraper.
Go
vote. Yeah, vote. Okay, next game you get Oregon, Chalet, skyscraper. Okay, well we just played skyscraper. We'll obviously play Oregon and Chalet. So it's smart. I'm happy about it. I really wish.
Theme park.
You already know it. You already know what I'm gonna say.
I really wish they put theme park in there, even if it's not balanced. You guys have to understand here as YouTubers, like most people only play ranked, and if you have casual, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to play that? That's totally cool. But like I know me specifically, and some of the people that I play with, we never play casual. We just never play casual. If we're gonna play, if we have fun, we're still gonna do it in ranked. We're gonna monk around a rank. We're gonna lose rank, whatever. We're still gonna do it in rank because that's what matters. And I'm really upset that I think they didn't include theme park inside the ranked. I really hope they include it. Maybe just add a bonus in there, because unfortunately you will rarely see me play theme park on my YouTube channel. It's going to be a special occasion if it pops up, or it's going to be something that we had to play between rounds because we couldn't find a game on our servers for so long. But there was a tweet, and I want to say it was Penguin. If I'm misquoting, I apologize. This is off the top of my head. But it was in reference to Pro League and ranked and how this map rotation will kind of affect that. And so if theme park is not going to be included in ranked, it's only going to be a casual map, there's literally never a reason why a pro player is going to be playing it. If it's not going to be in their rotation, they're not going to scrim it, they're not going to practice it, they're not going to strat it. If it's not in ranked, which only you're going to see pros generally in ranked. Sometimes you'll see them in casual playing with some other YouTubers or streamers. Right, most of the time in ranked though.
if they never play it in ranked, they'll never be familiar with it.
Right.
Ever until it comes to rank. So
there's no reason to build a strategy around it.
No reason at all. Never.
No reason to play
it. Right. You know, maybe if you tested it, that's the only reason you're going to ever play it.
Which is kind of sad because you have, you know, people working really hard on maps and stuff. You know, they're
really hard. And this is a beautiful looking map.
It really looks beautiful. And I just kind of wish they would add it to ranked and to see what everybody's opinions are and then take it out next season. You know, replace it with the new map. You know, just keep the 9 stable and keep the new map in there fresh because I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play this map. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Period.
Right.
I'm not going to go play casual, you know. So you'll rarely see it. And I don't know. I'm disappointed in that fact, but I think other than that, you know, keeping the 9 maps that are in Pro League because like we talked about yesterday in stream. You want to go ahead and say what you said something along the fact that like I said that I think casual should be a prep for ranked should be a prep for you said go fours, right? So go fours,
right. Rank should be your prep for go fours. Go fours should be your prep for Challenger League, and then obviously Challenger leads into Pro League.
Right. Okay.
So there is kind of like a stepped system here, yeah.
Right, and so casual is like the beginner of all beginners, and I don't know. I really wish I'm glad that they kept the 9 in there because there's no reason to ever play Favela, Yacht, or I know some of you guys might like it here on YouTube and Twitch. This is fine. That's great. Whatever. Yeah. It's not competitive, and if it's not competitive, it shouldn't be a rank because you're holding the highest playing people. Like they go in ranked for fun too, and I don't know. I just don't agree with keeping those unbalanced maps because the win ratio on Favela is like 80% for attackers. It's ridiculous. It's a damn near easy win. I mean, most of the time, the winner is decided by overtime. If you go into overtime, who gets attackers first? Well, looks like you're gonna win. You have a higher chance to win. Even Kickstar said that.
Right.
So,
right. And you know, there was a good point that was brought up to me by Bandit, one of the mods for Microwave here on Twitch. She's around everywhere. Actually, she's a great mod. But she would not like to see these maps removed and had kind of a really good reason for it. Maps should kind of be on a multiplier. You should have a higher chance to get the better maps, the more balanced maps, and a much lower chance to get a map like Favelas or a map like House. One of the easy ways to kind of think about it is if you had a prize wheel. If you went to Gamescom and they had a prize wheel, and you had a very high chance to get something like a fanny pack, something just kind of crappy, or a keychain.
Hook me up.
But hook me up. You're probably going to get it. There's a 6 times multiplier on there, so you have 6 times the chance to get that, and then a 0.5% chance to get the grand prize, which could be like, you know, a 1080 Ti,
right?
Whatever it may be. There's ways to or reverse, right? So there's ways to do this without taking away from the players. Now, personally, I'm happy to see some of these maps go. I'm in favor of this newer system.
It's a good point you bring up. There's obviously other ways to do it. So you think that maybe, let's say all of the 9 maps have like a 15% chance to playing with the rest of the percent. I'm not doing the math here. I'm terrible, but you guys get what I'm saying. That maybe out of the 10% chance, you get all the maps that aren't played, such as Canal, Hereford, University, House, Plain, and Theme Park. There's a 10% chance you can get one of those, but there's obviously a 90% chance you can get a Pro League map. Right? Does that make sense? Right. Something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I completely agree to that.
It's not a bad idea at all, actually.
It's not a bad idea. They couldn't get map preferences to work, so they're taking that out completely.
Yeah,
except in terrorists.
Well, they never got it to work anyways. I've never had Favela, Yacht, Bartlett University turned on like ever, and that's what we always get. We always like first game of the day, boom Favela, boom University. What the heck? Oh, by the way, they didn't even add Favela to this map pool. It's not even on here.
Right, it's not even on here anymore. It's only going to be available in customs.
Oh my gosh, so they took it out of casual as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And Yacht. Jesus Christ. Oh, but I think UB Justin, he tweeted out. He said that we stated that they're gonna plan to rework them and add them back, right? So he tweeted that out.
And we know that they're going to be reworking all the maps over time. Yeah. You know, lighting is something that they said they fixed almost immediately across the maps, but then the the diffusal lighting, the baked-in lighting of the maps and textures on those maps are what's going to be changing over time.
Yeah, so
those have to be taken out manually.
So they are taking some of the maps out, but they said that they do want to put them back in. Now, I was listening to Matimio last night. I'll put a link in the description down below if you guys don't know who he is. He's one of the top Siege streamers and Siege YouTubers. Definitely makes some good content there. He was saying that he said, not quote him here, but I'm gonna kind of loosely quote him. But he made a disclaimer. He's not a game developer and all that stuff. But he said last night that they might be removing them because they're actually hitting a cap on how many maps they can have right now because of Microsoft and Sony only allow so much space into their servers and stuff. So apparently they're having to actually take out maps to put them back in. And Antoine was there, and he was saying, it's not the Ubisoft servers. So, but they talked about that. So that might be something.
Right. But you also have to imagine there's other games out there. We can talk about Battlefield, which has huge maps and a huge map pool. And those are also multi-console games.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some buildings that aren't destructible, and there are some buildings that are destructible, and bullet holes aren't 100% accurate. So let's say you take an artillery, or you shoot a building and the bullets don't go through it. Everything in this game, the bullets exactly go where you shoot.
Right. So I guess there is a difference in the engine and how the engines compile their environments, and then how they handle destructibility. So yeah, that's very true. It's still just kind of that could be true.
It could be.
It absolutely could be true. But I don't think that's the 100% reason.
I don't think it's 100% reason either, but it is something, food for thought,
Yeah, exactly, food for thought.
Now the new map. Now this is where it's gonna get kind of sad. There's a individual named Boston Bear Jew. He was a player. He played for 1,106 hours, I believe, if I remember off the top of my head. Ubisoft. He unfortunately passed away. I think it was March of 2017, I believe. They included his his in-game record of him playing Jaeger and Thermite. Those were his mains. They included an arcade, bro. It's so sad, bro. Good for Ubisoft for doing that, though. I mean, I guess this guy lived this game. He enjoyed this game a lot, and they decided to go ahead and add that inside of arcade.
Yeah, I'm happy they did that.
I get kind of goosebumps, thinking about that. I mean, it is. We play this game every single day, and the fact we lost. I mean, I didn't know the guy, but somebody out there, lost a loved one, and that they asked Ubisoft, hey, he dedicated all his time to this game. Can you do something for him? And they took the time to put this guy inside the game. To me, dude, honestly, Ubisoft, thank you so much, dude. That really shows how compassionate you are about your fans. Some guy wrote it about it on Reddit, and
it was a very nice little write-up.
Dude, it caught me, bro. I was like, oh, this is so sad, but it's so beautiful at the same time. That it's unfortunate, the guy passed away, but it's so beautiful that they put this in there, so it'll be in the game forever. How great is that, guys? So
yeah,
I wanted to go ahead and definitely talk about that. So Ubisoft, thank you for the guys that decided to take a little extra time. I normally like to give you guys shit, but honestly, this is the single greatest thing I've ever heard. You guys
that's the difference. We give you shit, but when you do something as noble as immortalizing somebody who was so passionate about your game, it means a lot to us as the community who watch you, who look at every single move you make with scrutiny. So when you do something like this, it reinforces that you guys are human too, and that you care about us in a way. And so thank you for caring about Boston Bear Jew as much as his friends and family did.
And the amazing thing is they didn't even talk about it. They didn't write an article. They didn't make a video gloating about it. They just simply emailed the guy who emailed them and said, "Yeah, it's done. Here you go." That's it. That's simple.
That's it. Yeah.
They didn't talk about it. They let whoever asked for it, they put it in for themselves. So wow, Ubisoft really took that's just amazing. So Ubisoft, if you are listening to that, man, whoever, Like, honestly, thank you, because that's it's beautiful. So, with that, I think, is there anything else that happened this week? Now, we're going to be covering the Pro League, guys. Don't worry about it. The Pro League will be a podcast Monday. We're going to be doing a lot of conversation pieces. We're going to be bringing up clips of what happened, like the Hibana bug that kind of happened today. We'll talk about Astro and how amazing this dude is, like phenomenal. Like
and the
watching that guy and the mistake he made. Yeah, we'll talk about those. So that'll be Monday. We'll do a podcast at 9 in the morning. But is there anything we haven't revealed it, guys? So if you're watching this on Sunday, which will be released there, yeah, this is what we got. So
make sure to tune in tomorrow, then, which will be Monday. If you're listening to this Sunday,
Yes.
tune in tomorrow
at 9.
and find out.
And come on in, because we're going to be talking about that and mostly Pro League. We're going to do a Pro League podcast. We're going to try to bring Pro League to you guys, to everybody. So I think with that, we're going to end the podcast and probably hop into some gameplay. What do you think about that, buddy? Want to play
I think that sounds pretty good.
Want to play some pretty good. Hey, we're going to play some video games. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast. If you're here on YouTube, you're definitely watching this on Sundays. Come by tomorrow on Monday to let us know what you think and some of the conversations that we had earlier. You can obviously our other podcast where we went more in depth about the operators and what we speculated beforehand. We're going to go ahead and pop into the games. And with that, we will see you, YouTube, on Sunday. Hopefully you come here, right? They better come here, right?
Hopefully, yeah, you should come here. If you're interested in hearing it live, it's much better live, I think. Yeah,
yes,
come and check us out.
Because we're reading the messages as they go. We're going to answer some Twitter questions or the Twitch questions. So thank you guys so much for watching on YouTube. We will be here tomorrow. We'll see you then.